Please welcome the Consul General of Canada in Los Angeles, Zaib Shaikh.
Thanks, everyone. Thanks for being here. Good afternoon to everyone. Bonjour à tous. I've had the good fortune of being Canada's senior government representative in Nevada, Arizona, and Southern California for the past 4 years, and I want to acknowledge that those are the homelands of the Southern Paiute, the O'odham, the Peeposh, and the Tongva, and of course, other Indigenous peoples and their ancestors. We thank them for their stewardship and activism on the land and water on which we serve. Thank you. In so many ways, we're finally, as countries and nations, acknowledging the things that we haven't acknowledged that should have been acknowledged for so many generations. We're acknowledging who have been the caretakers of these lands and waters. And so that's why we do these land acknowledgements. This is the second year in a row that the Government of Canada and the Trade Commissioner Service has had the honor of participating in RES. There's nearly 200 participants from Canada here, and amongst the 4,000 I know of this crowd, and that includes First Nations, Métis, Inuit tribal leaders, business owners, and organizational representatives. We're thrilled to be here in Vegas with all of you. So let's give it up to all those representatives, please. I want to shout out our team, of course, our Canadian Trade Commissioner Service led at this event by my Consulate Generals, Consul and Senior Trade Commissioner Thierry Weisenberger and Consul and Trade Commissioner Patrick Herschels. They're right over there. Please wave your hands. They're proactively working to help businesses from Canada diversify their trade. The trade diversification strategy not only involves diversifying where Canada exports to, and what we export, but also who we export with, and ensuring that those benefits of trades, those economic benefits, are spread equally and inclusively, especially to groups who have been traditionally locked out. So I'm speaking specifically, of course, of Indigenous peoples. I'm speaking about women. I'm speaking about members of the LGBTQ plus community, Black entrepreneurs, and of course, everyone that we acknowledge as our future, the youth. They're so important. Now, the trade diversification strategy is also linked to something very important for Canada. We're talking about the truth and reconciliation process that the Government of Canada has undertaken since 2015 with First Nations, Inuit, and Métis people of Canada. The government has accepted its responsibilities and its failings in the legacy of treatment of its Indigenous community members and has offered formal apologies, particularly to former students and survivors of the residential school program. Of course, we all know, and I personally know, much remains to be done to make real concrete changes in Canadian society by implementing the 94 calls to action by Canada's Truth and Reconciliation Commission to recompense the legacy of the horrible residential schools and advance the process of reconciliation in Canada. But among the work that's been done so far, the government has passed the Indigenous Languages Act to support the revitalization, maintaining, and strengthening of Indigenous languages in Canada. We've invested over $3.5 billion to assist Indigenous communities and groups in building that capacity to establish their own child and welfare and family services systems. And we're working with the provincial and territorial and Indigenous partners to develop a national action plan to end the systemic cause of violence against Indigenous women, girls, and LGBTQ plus and two-spirited people. Thank you. The applause is nice, but you know, from our point of view, this has been a long time coming, and we're finally doing what we should have been doing all along. The Government of Canada is firmly committed now to advancing the rights, perspectives, and prosperities of Indigenous peoples. Now, you don't want to hear from me, you want to hear from the main event, and that person is famed Canadian actor of Cree and Métis heritage, Tantu Cardinal. She's going to come up on stage very soon with our friend Chris James. But I did want to highlight some of Tantu's many accomplishments, including being awarded the Order of Canada in 2009 for her contributions to the growth and development of Aboriginal performing arts in Canada. She was also named the winner of the Academy of Canadian Cinema and Television's Earl Grey Award for Lifetime Achievement. And she received the Governor General's Performing Arts Award as well. Now, a personal pleasure for all of our consulate members, and myself included, of course, was that Tantu was the first recipient of the Key to the Consulate in Los Angeles that we were able to give her. And it was a real honor, and it was one of the personal highlights of my career. She's a great person, she's become a great friend, and I can't wait for you to get to meet her if you haven't already. She'll be speaking with Chris in a second. But before she does come on stage, it's my privilege to present to you a short video highlighting the Government of Canada's partnership with the National Centre over the past 2 years, which has led to 2 successful participations at RES. I want to thank the team, I want to thank Chris James for this strong and growing relationship, and thank you so much for giving me a chance to speak with you. Merci beaucoup. Félicitations. Hey, have a great day. Thanks.